The murder of Lindsay Ann Hawker is a case that captured international attention. Lindsay was a young British woman teaching English in Japan before her body was found buried in a bathtub filled with soil in 2007. The following manhunt would keep the perpetrator running for years and seeking out extreme measures to hide their identity. My name is Ben.
And I'm Nicole, and you're listening to Wicked and Grim,
A true crime podcast.
Warning. The following podcast contains graphic content and material intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised.
That was the slowest opening of a can, I think, in the history of our podcast.
I'm very rusty.
About for 10 seconds before we even actually had the podcast going, Nicole was struggling with that tab.
Are you going to put that on the video?
Oh, definitely. It'll be on
gosh.
YouTube. You'll see the struggle for sure.
With my double chin problem? I haven't had a
Trust me, we all have it. Why do you think I have a beard
I
that hides it?
know. I haven't had a bevy on here for a while. It's
No,
nice.
you haven't.
Gonna sit back and relax.
I'm sitting back, sipping some water through a straw.
Yeah, because you're having some issues.
I am having some issues. I don't know if you guys can hear it in my voice, but I've been sick a little bit the last couple of days. I already feel like I'm getting better, but I pretty much lost my voice yesterday. So recovering a bit. Hopefully I don't sound too bad. Hopefully I don't fade too much as this episode goes on.
I know, it's too bad. I wish I had an episode done, but I do not.
Yeah.
So I can't really help you out.
It's all good though. I mean, I do have your support when I need it usually. And we also usually have the support of our patrons who are here thanking us all the time because they get the awesome behind the scenes. And we are thanking them for being so amazing to us.
They sure do. They get some cool behind the scenes, actually.
They do. So this week we had a few awesome people sign up and we're going to give them a shout out. We had Jamie sign up, Michael B, Misty Smith, Chris, and Carter Van Driel.
Nice.
Thank you very much, you guys. Appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
They're getting all that good
Freaking
behind the
awesome.
scenes, the extra episode at the end of the month. Yeah,
And it's almost the end of the month.
it is. So we got to get on that episode. I just realized.
Mhm.
maybe we'll do the one where I was watching that documentary on.
Well, yeah, Ben's doing the intro, and I was like, I thought we were doing another case.
Nope, I just got a bunch of cases on the go all at once.
Yeah, you do. This one sounds interesting, though.
I'm also reading a book for another case,
Mhm.
which is, it's a tough book, but yeah, that's besides the point. We'll touch on that one eventually.
Yeah. Look at you. Just working away.
Work, 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 work. I don't even know that song, but that's the only part of it I know. I don't even know who sings it or anything. It's just work, 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 work. That's all I got.
Yeah, I don't know if
where
I can
else it
help
goes.
you out right now, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, so yeah, this is the case of Lindsay Ann Hawker. Are you ready to dive into this one?
I guess so.
You guess so?
Yeah.
Well, for this one, we're going to hop on a plane and we're going to go all the way over to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So buckle your seatbelts because here we go.
Mm-hmm.
So Lindsay Ann Hawker was born on December 30th, 1984 in Coventry, England. She grew up in a loving family with two sisters and was known for her smarts. She was known for her smarts not only though, but her kindness and adventurous spirit as well. On top of it all, Lindsay was very, very, very smart. I said smart at the beginning because she is exactly that. I want to highlight that very
How
much.
smart she is, exactly.
She is incredibly smart. She actually graduated from the University of Leeds with a degree in biology in 2006. She also harbored a deep desire to explore the world, and she was very eagerly anticipating embarking on a global journey with her boyfriend, Ryan Garside.
Okay.
So the two are just like, yeah, we're going to just go see the world together,
Mhm.
which is adorable as fuck.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So they planned to travel the world, diving into whatever cultural experiences they could, right? However, before setting off on their adventure, Lindsay accepted a teaching position in Tokyo, Japan, which would temporarily delay their plans, being the fact that she's so smart. Of course, she's going to be, a teacher, right?
Mhm. Yep.
So they agreed that Ryan would join her in the following summer after she did this role for a little while. at which point they would finally, commence their long-awaited travels across the globe. So in 2007, at the age of 22, Lindsay arrived in Japan to begin her role at the Tokyo Nova Language School and quickly adapted to her new environment, making friends and enjoying the experiences of living abroad. And of course, keeping in touch with her parents and family and friends and boyfriend.
And her boyfriend, yeah.
Yeah. And she was doing great, ensuring everything's going good. She's safe. It's a fantastic place to be and all that sort of thing. She embraced all the challenges of living in a foreign country. She was enthusiastic about the opportunities. Like I said, they kept in close contact. She kept in close contact with her family, you name it. Lindsay didn't know, though, but soon her world would come crashing down. And it all occurred when she met an individual by the name of Tatsuya Ichihashi. Now, Tatsuya was born in Gifu Prefecture, Japan in 1979. He came from a very well-off family and was well-educated, having attended Chu University of Tokyo. Despite his privileged background, though, Tatsuya led a bit of a troubled life, exhibiting antisocial behavior and showing signs of instability. He struggled to find his place in society and had a history of violent behavior, which was known to some of his acquaintances. On the morning of March 21st in 2007, Lindsay was at a coffee shop near Gyoku train station in the eastern part of Tokyo. It was here that she would finally meet Tatsuya for the first time. Now, Tatsuya approached Lindsay and struck up a conversation while she was sitting there at the coffee shop. He claimed that he wanted to learn English, and he presented himself as a prospective student and showed a keen interest in taking private English lessons from her. So right here, like they haven't met before. They don't know who each other are.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was just wondering. I was going to ask, did he know her before?
No, but clearly he has some idea of who she is.
Okay. Yeah, that's sort of unsettling.
Just a little bit. It's almost like he's been watching or something.
Yeah.
But by the sounds of this interaction, though, it sounds like he played it off like almost like he recognized her like as being an English teacher from somewhere. Like I saw some articles where he claimed that he was like a student of hers or something along those lines already.
Okay.
And he was looking more for private lessons per anything, but she didn't recognize him or know who he was.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless, during their conversations together at the coffee shop, Tatsuya actually asked if he could sketch a portrait of her as well. Lindsay found this request a little bit unusual, but, she agreed.
Oh, shit, man. This is the worst coffee shop encounter I've ever heard. I would be like, hell no.
Hell no?
Hell no.
No? Well, I mean, you can actually go online. You can see the sketch as well.
Oh, my gosh. Can you just imagine some random person, A, like knowing what the fuck you do for a living, and then B, asking like if they can just draw you?
Well, I mean, by the sound, like the way we're presenting it and looking at it from the outside, I'm sure it sounds rather obtuse, if you will. But put it this way. Assume you're in Lindsay's shoes and assume that you're trusting this guy, that, yeah, he is a student at the place that you're teaching. Maybe they had a conversation how he's passionate about not only learning other languages, but also art as well. And then maybe she's like, oh, that's awesome. You're doing art. What kind of stuff do you do? He's like, oh, I do like portrait sketches and stuff. I could draw you if you like. Is that okay? I'll draw you now. What if it's a casual conversation like that?
Yeah, still no.
Okay.
I would still be like, no.
Fair enough.
Like, it just seems so weird to me.
Fair enough. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. So
yeah, I mean, like, at least let's go for coffee a second time. And then maybe we'll chat about that.
Understandable. Well, she agreed instead of turning him down. And as he sketched, they continued to talk, and he expressed his desire to improve his English skills. This interaction all seemed harmless and went rather professional, fitting into Lindsay's role as an English teacher, right, who often interacted with individuals interested in learning the language a bit more. So after a while, Lindsay actually agreed to give him an English lesson, a private one. So they arranged to meet at his apartment on March 25th, 2007 for the lesson, meeting him outside of her regular teaching hours. Now, I understand, especially Nicole's face right now. She's like, ugh. This wasn't anything out of the ordinary, really. It wasn't anything entirely unusual. A lot of English teachers in Japan offered private lessons to supplement their income. So it was kind of a normal thing to go to someone's place and actually teach them
Okay. I feel like, yeah, the teaching thing and the private lesson seems totally fine.
Yeah.
But I feel like if they had just maybe done it in a public space, like the coffee shop,
Well,
that might have been better.
I do mention a little bit later on when they actually do meet up, they did plan to meet at a coffee shop again first, and then from there go to his apartment.
Okay.
So the plan is, we're going to meet up on this date. We're going to go to your apartment, but we're meeting at the coffee shop again first. So we'll meet at the coffee shop, go to your apartment for the lesson.
I just mean doing the lesson entirely at the coffee shop would be a better idea.
Fair enough, but that's not going to prevent anything sketchy from happening, say, on the second lesson in the apartment then.
Well, I just mean forever doing the lesson that way.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not going along with any of this devil's advocate stuff, am I?
No, you're not. But I mean, honestly, there's a lot of people who do private tutor lessons at home, not even just educational wise, like think music lessons, piano lessons or something, singing lessons or whatever it is. Maybe
very true.
Home inspectors go into your home and inspect. Like there's a lot of jobs. We covered the pizza murders not too long ago, where pizza delivery people come to your house. Right?
Well, and I honestly, I had a tutor when I was in high school, and they came to my house.
There you go.
To teach me how to do math, because math is really hard.
Math do suck sometimes. It do be like that. Yeah. Well, anyways, we digress. On the day of the lesson, Lindsay informed her boyfriend, Ryan, and her friends about the planned meeting, and even provided Tatsuya's address as a precaution.
Okay.
So good on her.
Good.
Yeah, it showed her awareness for potential risk for sure. Now, what Lindsay didn't know, though, was that Tatsuya had a reputation for following foreign women and for being overly persistent in his attempts to engage with them, along with his aforementioned violent behavior. So on March 25th, 2007, Lindsay met Tatsuya as planned. They spent a little bit of time at their initial meeting place at the cafe and then headed to his apartment thereafter. What exactly transpired within the confines of his apartment remains partially speculative, but the tragic outcome is well documented. Once Lindsay entered Tatsuya's home and the door was closed behind them, he immediately struck. Tatsuya had planned this all out in his head, and he had prepared for the encounter by securing his apartment and ensuring that Lindsay would be isolated and unable to escape.
Shit, this is just the freaking worst nightmare.
Both individuals were now engaged in a fight, but for Lindsay, it was a fight for her life. She did have a background in kickboxing, and she knew how to defend herself well. But unfortunately, she was no match for Tatsuya, who also had a background in an extensive background in judo, and his skills allowed him to easily overpower her. Soon, it would be noticed by Lindsay's colleagues and friends and boyfriend that something was wrong. She wasn't responding to messages or calls. Her boyfriend Ryan specifically knew when she was supposed to be done at Tatsuya's home, and he hadn't been able to reach her. Concern quickly grew, and eventually a report was made that she was missing. Police were also provided information about the meeting and Tatsuya's address, luckily.
And he probably didn't know that she had given this to anyone, eh? I'm assuming?
No, he did not.
Okay.
No.
Yep. Good on her.
Yeah, no kidding. That's huge. And honestly, that's played a huge role in this, because if that wasn't the case, she could have, who knows? Right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like sometimes jobs and stuff and just put you in a situation that, you know, unfortunately could turn like this. But I always think it's smart when someone like provides an address of where they're going.
I agree. Now, I'm not too sure exactly on when the missing persons report was filed, but it would be the next day on March 26, 2007, just one day after she was last seen and went to the meeting with Tatsuya, that the police went to his apartment. When they arrived and knocked on the door, they were greeted by Tatsuya, who opened the door. However, upon him realizing that the police were there to investigate, he quickly fled the scene barefoot, managing to escape despite the presence of several officers.
Well, they weren't expecting that.
No, they weren't.
Holy shit. And obviously, like, that's some serious suspicion right there.
Right there. Yeah, that.
Just run.
I agree. That also plays a huge part in this case. So upon the police entering the apartment looking for Lindsay, they managed to make a grim discovery. Lindsay's body was found in a bathtub on the balcony. The bathtub was removed. I'm presuming it's like a clawfoot bathtub style or something.
Wow. Okay.
Was removed and put onto the balcony. Her body was then laid in there and buried under a layer of sand and compost. It was his attempt to conceal her body and mask any odors.
Huh. That's a new one.
Yeah, definitely.
Holy shit.
Now, it also could be a different style of bathtub because I know in Japan there's a lot of like small apartments and stuff. And so there's like collapsible bathtubs and like a lot of like different living style gadgets and things. So I don't know if it's a clawfoot bathtub specifically, but a tub of some sort that is, quote, a bathtub she was found in.
Would that work? I don't think that would work, would it?
What do you mean?
Like it wouldn't conceal odor and like the body
I imagine it would
decomposing, would it?
It would conceal a fair bit of odor, yeah. I imagine. I could be wrong.
Wow.
I'm not saying it would be perfect, but I imagine it would mask quite a bit.
Interesting.
Better than having
That's brutal.
a decomposing body just laying in your bathroom.
I guess, but like, I mean, I'm just visualizing too, like someone else's balcony is like right beside, right?
Yeah.
You know? So.
No, I don't think it was something that he would have gotten away with for long term, but at least it was a temporary solution that he was looking at. What he planned on doing after that, who knows?
Wow.
So once her remains were uncovered, Lindsay's body showed signs of a brutal assault that had occurred the night before. She had been bound and gagged, and there were clear indications of physical trauma. The forensic examination later revealed that she had been violently sexually assaulted and beaten before finally being strangled to death.
What an absolute piece of shit.
I agree.
Holy.
Yeah. An immediate and intense investigation, of course, took place, and the police launched a massive manhunt for Tatsuya Ichihashi. And this would become a 2.5-year-long manhunt, one of the most intense and high-profile ones in Japanese history.
He literally got, what, 2.5 years?
He was on the
I
run
thought
for
maybe
a
like
total of 2.5 years.
2 weeks or something, 2 days.
Nope.
Gosh. Okay, I'm actually, okay, that's like making me angry here. I'm a little angry about this.
Well, in the intro, what did I say in the intro exactly?
I don't know. I can't remember back to then.
The following manhunt would keep the perpetrator running for years and seeking out extreme measures to hide their identity.
Okay. Well, I think that in the intro, you lost me when you said something about someone buried in a bathtub. After that, I heard nothing.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah, honestly, that's because like they had him. They had him.
They did.
So that's why that's just like such a piss off.
But the thing is, they weren't suspecting anything at that time. It was like, hey, when was the last time have you seen Lindsay?
Okay, so if he had like just played it cool or whatever, they may not have even gone and searched his apartment at that time.
They might not have. I mean, honestly, I don't think they would have been able to search his apartment because they wouldn't have had a warrant.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the laws are specifically in Japan, but I'm assuming it's going to be something along those similar lines because, you know, people have rights.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like, oh no, like she left at this time or something. Maybe that would have been the case, but I don't know if that would have been too long that occurred. Like how like he wouldn't have gotten away with it still.
Right.
It would have probably turned around and come back in another day or two with a search warrant or who knows what, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. Now, the case quickly gained widespread media attention in Japan and internationally as well, partly due to the brutal nature of the crime and Lindsay's status as a foreigner living in Japan. The immediate search by police was extensive, focusing on locations where Tatsuya was known to frequent. The police received numerous tips from the public, but many of these leads turned out to be false or inconclusive. I do like we've covered cases before where we have a lot of tips coming in from the public, some of them inconclusive or false or whatever. I don't care if false tips are coming in. I mean, that sucks. It kind of muddles it up, but I don't think majority of them are probably not real false tips. It's like, oh, I think that's him. Oh no, it's a mistaken sort of thing.
Yeah, they could legitimately think that's them.
But I love the effort that comes in from the public when the police receive numerous tips like this. Fucking love it so much.
Well, yeah, there's been like lots of cases and, you know, it solves them.
Yeah, it does. It could be that key thing that solves the case. And spoiler alert, the public kind of did solve this one eventually.
Okay.
So yeah, no, tips coming in and all that sort of thing was a massive role in this case. There's so many pieces to cases, of course, but this one, it's like every piece played such a big role. And without the effort on every portion, it would not have happened.
Okay.
But we'll touch on that still. Now, the intense media coverage of the case helped keep it in the public eye, leading to a steady stream of information, but also making it difficult to discern these sort of things. I just kind of said that anyway. Sorry, but that's what I had written.
Makes sense.
Now, Tatsuya's life on the run was consistently a series of calculated moves designed to avoid detection at all cost. In the months following his escape, he moved frequently, staying in cheap, transient accommodations and avoiding any place where he might attract any sort of attention. He lived a solitary and paranoid existence, constantly wary of being recognized or captured at any moment, always looking over his shoulder.
Well, yeah, and that must be like a pretty shitty way to live.
Oh, I can only imagine.
But I mean, yeah, I don't know if that would be worse or being in jail, really.
I don't know. Yeah, I can tell you he deserves to be in fucking jail.
Yeah,
that much.
100%.
Yeah.
He deserves more than that.
Yeah. Now, to finance his life on the run, he took on various low-profile jobs that did not require identification or background checks. He worked as a day laborer, often in construction or manual labor roles, which allowed him to blend in or earn money to survive, whatever he needed, right? His lifestyle was extremely frugal and caution, ensuring that he left as little trace behind as possible. One of the most striking aspects of Tatsuya's time on the run was his efforts to change his appearance. Understanding that his distinct features, make him look recognizable just like any particular person, right? Mm-hmm. There's wanted posters out there. There's news media printing like TV, papers, magazines, you name it. So he took drastic measures to alter his looks. Over the course of his fugitive life, he underwent multiple plastic surgery procedures that were both painful and risky. Now, initially, he attempted to change his appearance, though, through non-surgical means. Grew out his hair, a beard, altered his clothing style, wore glasses or a hat, obscuring his face. Now, these superficial changes, though, were not enough to keep him hidden indefinitely, especially as police continued to release updates, new wanted posters and descriptions to the public, constantly pushing. Mm-hmm. Just like the public's coming in constantly with tips, the police are constantly pushing, searching new updates consistently.
I had never thought of this until you just told us this, but yeah, like being able to grow facial hair changes how you look so drastically.
Yeah, if I were to shave my beard,
no one would fucking recognize you.
Nope.
Huh. Okay.
If I shaved my beard, if I took off my hat, shaved my beard, and went to the dollar store, put on a pair of reading glasses, I bet you wouldn't recognize me.
I know, yeah. But I mean, I guess I have longer hair. If I cut my hair, it might drastically, but it wouldn't drastically change my appearance to the extent of like a beard versus non-beard.
Well, beard kind of covers half your face.
Yeah.
So
I never even thought of this.
Yep. So recognizing the need, though, for more significant changes other than just a beard or whatever, right?
Is that your plan, why you have a beard?
Maybe.
Shit.
Dun,
now I should be worried. Okay. Sorry. I'm done.
When was their insurance policy up again? I need to make sure we renew that.
Gosh. Dang. Because you were very quick. Yeah. If I went to the dollar store, got this. Like no one would know who I was.
I'm not saying I haven't hypothetically thought of these situations. I have. We do true crime for like a profession here.
That's true.
It's something that your mind wanders and thinks about. Like we've had conversations, even with friends, like, hey, where would you hide a body? How would you get away with it? These are things you just kind of talk about.
I know.
So,
I mean, I'm sure there's some people that don't.
Some people may not. That's true. That's true. But we definitely do. And I'm pretty sure the FBI listening through our computers and everything, looking at our search history is just like, what the fuck? We're on some sort of red list.
Radar.
Yeah. Anyways, we digress. He was looking for more significant changes. So he eventually turned to plastic surgery. He started by actually performing some of the procedures on himself.
Good God.
Using rudimentary tools and methods to modify his facial features. These self-administered surgeries, including cutting and stitching part of his face to alter the shape of his nose and eyes.
Holy shit. I don't even know how you go about that.
So by the sounds of it to me, like think like cutting like a line underneath your eye or something and then stitching it tighter.
Oh,
Things like
gosh.
that, lifting your eyebrows that way, you know, maybe cutting out a little triangle of skin and then stitching it close to lift. Like that's kind of what I envision.
Wow.
So he was doing what he could. The results, of course, though, were, I mean, they're pretty crude. He's just doing this in like a fucking bathroom at a gas station or something.
Yikes.
Right? So they're pretty crude and often left him in quite severe pain, but they were successful in making him less recognizable, though not unidentifiable.
Okay.
So still, Tatsuya realized that professional surgery was necessary and it would provide more effective results. So he sought out underground clinics and unlicensed practitioners willing to perform the surgeries without asking any questions.
Wow. Just everything fucking exists, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Everything. I'm sure if you're willing to pay for it, I'm sure you can find it somewhere out there in the world, which is horrible to think about.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So these underground operations, though, of course, are dangerous and for him often resulted in complications, but they did allow him to significantly alter his appearance even further. He had his nose reshaped, his eyelids altered, and various other modifications to his face. Now, through this manhunt, the Japanese police maintained a high level of pressure. That pressure I mentioned already, they continued it. They consistently updated the public with new information and appealed for assistance in locating him. The media also played a crucial role in keeping the case in the spotlight. So they're constantly bringing it to the forefront. If you see anything, this is his picture, you know, updates, whatever it is, they're constantly pumping it out.
So good.
Yeah. And Lindsay's family even did interviews. They flew into Japan to do interviews, and there's reconstructions of the crime scene and even the escape done for the public to like have information on this and everything. So the Hawker family, particularly Lindsay's parents, Bill and Julia Hawker, were instrumental in maintaining public interest and putting this pressure on authorities as well. Not only did they make just a trip to Japan to do some interviews, they made multiple trips to Japan, doing interviews, press conferences, meeting with police officials, updating with them, putting on that pressure. Like, I'm sure they were just flying to Japan, showing up at the station being like, so how's things going?
Wow.
Putting that heat on.
Well, and those poor people, like their daughter was so young.
Exactly. So their persistent efforts kept the case from fading into obscurity 100%. It ensured that Tatsuya remained a priority for the police.
Good. That's awesome of them. Like, I mean, they're grieving, but still like, you know, getting shit done.
Yeah. So I also mentioned earlier, the public played a big part. Thousands of tips were eventually received across the time span, with sightings reporting from various parts of Japan all across the country. And police followed up every single credible lead, sometimes deploying large teams to search the specific areas as well. So as the manhunt progressed, the police began to narrow down their search based on patterns in these sightings. So they focused on areas where Tatsuya had been spotted multiple times and where his activity seemed to be most concentrated, according to these sightings and tips.
Was he staying in the same city?
No, he wasn't staying in the city, but Japan is a small place.
Okay.
Yeah. So like Japan is a country, but I'm pretty like Japan is smaller than the province of British Columbia, I'm pretty sure. So.
Okay. But now, I mean, it's big population though.
Oh yeah. It's super dense, super dense. Now, this strategic approach gradually reduced the vast area that they actually needed to search across Japan. Being a small country still, like I said, that dense population, it's still vast in that sense. So narrowing it down in this way helped tremendously. Now, one of the key moments in the manhunt came when the police received information that Tatsuya had been seen in Nagoya, a major city in central Japan. Further investigation on this tip revealed that he had been living in the city's homeless community, where he was easily able to avoid detection. Police were now concentrating their efforts on this city and began setting up surveillance and undercover operations to try and track him down. Finally, all the efforts would pay off.
Awesome.
Tatsuya Ichihashi was finally captured on November 10th, 2009 at the Osaka ferry terminal. He was attempting to board a ferry to Okinawa when he was recognized by a ferry employee who had seen his updated wanted poster. The employee alerted the authorities that Tatsuya was apprehended before he could even board the ferry.
Nice.
The 2-year search had finally come to an end.
What an effort. Like, this is, I love here, like, I don't love these stories, but I love when there's like such a significant effort to like get this guy, make him pay for what the fuck he did.
And it's such significant effort in each area. The family kept pushing. The media kept pushing.
Mm-hmm.
The police kept pushing. The public kept pushing.
Yeah.
Without any of those roles, this would probably not have come to fruition because he probably would have eventually been unrecognizable. I mean, if you look at his photos side by side, the 2-year gap, he, to me, is unrecognizable.
Really?
Yes.
Holy shit. Okay, I'm going to have to see this.
Yes, you are. But I mean, there's some features there clearly where it's like, okay, yeah, you can piece it together, and clearly some people were still able to see it. But yeah, if only given more time, it just would have gotten more.
Holy, and then he would have been a free man.
Yeah. So without that push on all fronts, this probably would be an unsolved case.
Well, and then also too, I just had this thought, like without this immense pressure for him to, like he had this focus on having to change himself, right? And in his appearance and stuff. I feel like if he didn't have that, he would probably be doing a bunch of other bad shit.
Oh, probably.
Right? And harming other people.
Probably. So Tatsuya's capture was a culmination of all these efforts, of course. But finally, they brought him to justice. So following his arrest, he was subjected to extensive interrogation by police. Initially, he was evasive and uncooperative, but by the weight of the evidence against him, he eventually made a partial confession. He admitted to assaulting Lindsay, but he claimed her death was accidental.
Oh, gosh.
Despite his claims, Tatsuya Ichihashi was charged with Lindsay's murder, sexual assault, and confinement. His trial began in July of 2011. Now, the trial was highly publicized, drawing significant media attention both in Japan and internationally. And the courtroom was filled with journalists, legal experts, and members of the public, all eager to see justice finally be served.
Mm-hmm.
So on July 4th, 2011, at the opening of his trial at the Chibiya District Court, Tatsuya Ichihashi addressed Lindsay Ann Hawker's family directly. In a highly emotional moment, he walked into the courtroom and bowed deeply towards Lindsay's parents, Bill and Julia Hawker, who were present in the courtroom. This act of bowing, which is a traditional Japanese gesture of apology and respect, was his attempt to show remorse for his actions and to seek forgiveness from Lindsay's grieving family. The Hawker family, of course, had mixed reactions to this gesture. While some might interpret the bow as a sincere expression of regret, Lindsay's parents were primarily focused instead on achieving justice for their daughter.
Mm-hmm.
They maintained their dignity and composure throughout the trial, and reports show that any time Tatsuya bowed towards them, they did not face him, showing that they did not accept whatever apology he was attempting to make.
Oh, yeah, that's actually really tough because, like, I don't know. I mean, there's a different culture. And so bowing like means more significance over there. But, gosh, I don't know. That would be hard. I'm having trouble. Like, that would be hard. I'm glad they stood their ground because I don't feel like he deserves the forgiveness. That's so hard though.
I have one response to the parents' reaction to this bow.
Yeah. Because, like, why?
I fully support.
Why should he feel better for his actions of what he did? Like,
I agree.
He took their daughter away.
Yeah, 100%.
So
he can be remorseful as what he wants to. He can apologize as much as he wants to. They can accept the apology as much as they want to. All of that is totally fine by me. It doesn't change anything, though.
Doesn't bring Lindsay back.
And them, not acknowledging it, I think, is a reminder that it doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, the prosecution presented a very compelling case in the courtroom. One of the key pieces of evidence was the testimony of forensic experts who examined the crime scene and, of course, Lindsay's body as well. Their analysis revealed that Lindsay had been subjected to a prolonged violent attack. Ultimately, she succumbed to the struggle and had been asphyxiated. Marks on her body indicated she had struggled fiercely, suggesting that a deliberate and sustained attempt to subdue her occurred. And the presence of Tatsuya's DNA at the scene and on Lindsay's body showed his potential motivation. The autopsy also ultimately helped point towards premeditation. The prosecution argued that Tatsuya had planned the attack. His efforts to conceal Lindsay's body in a bathtub filled with sand and compost demonstrated a clear intention to hide the crime, which indicated this premeditation. Also, Tatsuya's actions following Lindsay's death, including his escape and prolonged evasion from the police, as we mentioned when he ran out initially, this is a key part of it. They were used to illustrate his consciousness of guilt. His drastic measures, his drastic measures to alter his appearance through plastic surgery further supported this guilt argument. Tatsuya's defense attempted to argue that Lindsay's death was the result of a botched attempt to restrain her and that he did not intend to kill her. Despite the defense's attempt to downplay the actions of Tatsuya, no one was buying it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know about that because what he was going to do these terrible things to her and then just let her go. Let her go?
Yeah. Right?
So
no.
That doesn't, I don't know.
That's not going to be the case.
This is just brutal.
It is.
Holy shit.
I think my voice is just getting raspier.
I know.
I'm sorry. I'm apologizing to you guys right now. We're going to get through this. We're almost there.
You're doing good. Like, that's a hard place to be in.
Yeah. We already turned the show off for a moment once because I had a coughing fit. But anyways, moving on. In July of 2011, Tatsuya Ichihashi was found guilty of all charges and was sentenced to life in prison.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's deserved.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to hear when I was researching this case. I'm like, he better be fucking behind bars.
Is there a fucking butt? I feel like you're about to say something like a butt.
Well, I mean, everyone has a butt.
Oh, God. Well, you know what I mean? That like something happens.
Well, let me tell you. The aftermath of Lindsay Ann Hawker's case saw a profound impact on both her family and the broader community. Her parents, Bill and Julia Hawker, continued to honor Lindsay's memory through advocacy by raising awareness about the safety of immigrants. The case prompted increased dialogue about the protection and support of foreign nationals in Japan. Tatsuya is currently held in the Chiba prison, a high-security facility known for housing serious offenders. He reportedly spends his days in reflection, expressing remorse through his actions through written work, and attempting to seek some form of atonement for the brutal crime he committed of taking the life of Lindsay Ann Hawker.
Okay. There's no buts.
There's no buts.
I was reading you wrong because I was like, good God, there can't be.
There's no buts. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah.
No, he was found guilty.
Good.
He did the crime. He is doing the fucking time he deserves. Yep. And even when he gets out, not only will he fucking have that guilt feeling on the inside, every time he fucking looks in a mirror for the rest of his life, he's going to see those fucking scars on his face that will remind him of Lindsay and what he fucking did.
Brutal. You know, and it also, I just feel like that she wasn't the first one either for some reason.
I don't know.
I mean, well, he had a violent past, right? So maybe he's done other things, maybe not necessarily killed somebody, but definitely changed someone's life.
Yeah, potentially. And I don't know the extent of his quote, like violent tendencies. I'm not too sure, but we do know he seemed to follow around foreign individuals into Japan. Mm-hmm. So he's looking at, whoever's coming in and just following around and being very pushy towards them. Maybe this was the first that he got pushy. if it was, that is a pretty extreme jump.
Yeah.
Especially considering that we're pretty sure the moment that door closed is when the attack occurred.
And here she was just wanting to help someone, like better themselves, right?
Yeah.
Who wanted to learn and.
Yeah. She was in Japan because she wanted to go travel the world.
Mm-hmm.
And she was talking to him because she wanted to teach people.
Yeah. What a loss. That's a big time loss, I feel like, for this world. Totally.
It is. So that is the case of Lindsay Ann Hawker. Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
Impressive that you got through that with a cold, because that's not easy.
It's not really a cold. I'm not sniffing. It's just my throat.
Yeah. Generally, it's me, I feel like, that has lost their voices in the past for cases.
I think so. I think this is the first time I've actually been like having voice issues on the podcast.
Every time I get sick, I always lose my voice. Here's like to hoping that I don't catch whatever the hell you had.
I'm pretty sure I got it from you.
I don't see how. My immune system is shit. It's like garbage.
Yeah, but what do I do all day? I just sit at home all day doing research. I barely leave our tiny home. You're the one who goes out with clients doing your photography shit. I'm pretty sure you went out in public, brought it home to me.
I don't know.
It just got me sick.
Maybe you got it while we were away.
No.
Could you still have gotten something from when we were away?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I really don't think so.
I don't know. I don't think it was me, because if it was me, I'd be sick too.
Yeah, fair. So. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this episode, we really appreciate you staying here, and we want you to give us a rating. That we'd appreciate that in return. Give us a 5-star, 1-star, whatever you feel is appropriate. If you want to check out our links, all in the description of this podcast. They're all down there. We are slowly getting caught up, and I'm expecting within the next week or two, we will be fully caught up with putting video podcasts on our YouTube channel. So you can see Nicole's reaction and me doing hand gestures to the camera. And yeah, it's all there on YouTube, so you can go check it out.
Yeah, you do. I actually do hand gestures too, I feel like.
You do hand gestures when you're trying to open a can for like 10, 15 seconds and you're really struggling.
Yeah. That would be interesting to watch.
That's going to go on YouTube for sure.
Please no.
Yes, 100%.
Anyway.
Well, Annie.
Good job.
Thank you.
You need to have a cough
rest my
drop
voice.
of sorts.
I'm going to go make a nice warm tea or something.
I didn't pick up any more ginger though, dude.
We got just regular tea.
Oh, okay.
I don't have to have like some ginger concoction. Just a tea is fine.
1 second. Okay.
We're done.
When we're ill,
Yeah.
This is like such a nice thing. I make this drink. I usually do like half a lemon, like lemon juice, and then a teaspoon or so of honey. And then I put a chunk of like raw ginger in there, like with warm hot water or whatever. And it like actually is quite nice.
I do recommend you treat that chunk of ginger like a tea bag though. Take it out after a while because that ginger gets potent.
I love ginger. When I make that for myself, I can barely fucking taste the ginger.
Like I love ginger too. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, when I'm like halfway through my tea, it's like, oh my God,
really?
It's just nothing but ginger.
Okay. See, I don't have that ever. Anyway. When I have sushi, I put all the ginger on there. It's damn good.
I put all the wasabi on. When we get sushi, she takes the ginger. I take the wasabi. That's how it works.
If you made it this far, you're the real MVP.
Yeah, you are. No kidding. Okay, well, we'll talk to you guys next week. And until then,
stay wicked.